Parasha Noach. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to stay on the same course that we started on Parashas Bereshis. Last year, we spoke about the consequence on every parasha where a person finds himself, what the mechanism in order to get himself back afloat. He finds himself in a tunnel. He finds himself in a situation. He finds himself in a situation where he has tzaras, what he has to do in order to get back to the light. This year I started on Bereshis, on the conduct of a person, what gets him, what leads him to get there. So in this Parasha in Noach, something is really abnormal. I mean, for the Torah to record at length a story between the Oirev, the raven, and Noach, the Yoina and Noach, the extensive amount of words used and repetitive words in this little parasha, in these two psukim, is just incredible. Obviously, we're not going to have time to talk about everything, but I'm going to focus on the raven. It says, Vaishalach es ha'oirev. So after the Mabul, and he had stopped, Noach has been there almost for a year, working very hard, night and days to feed all these animals. And it says, Vaishalach es ha'oirev. It does not say Vayishlach. It's almost said Vaishalach, that he was sent in the past tense. When Yaakov sent Malachim, he sent in voice to go to Esau, it says Vaishlach Yaakov Malachim. He sent, you're talking in a direct temp. Why is it here not talking in a direct temp? So he sent the raven. Vayetze yotzoi vashoy. He came out, and then, to give a translation to this, it's if you stick to the words, if you respect the words, it's impossible. Vayetze, he came out. Yotzoi, he came out. Vashoy, and he returned. So yotzoi vashoy, it's an expression in and out, we have to say. Ad yevoishe samayim me'al haaretz, until the water dried from the land. On the Yoina, it doesn't say, this type of lashon. Vaishalach, it's a much softer lashon. Vaishalach es hayoina me'ito. He sent the Yoina from him, because like we didn't know he was in the Teva. I don't want to go dwell in the words right now into the Yoina, but we see that there are some languages here that are questionable. And besides that, 80 years of Moshe Rabbeinu's life are not recorded in the Torah. You want to tell me that one thing of the raven is so important that it has to be recorded in the Torah? The Midrash Rabbah says, staggering explanation. You know what it means by Ishlach es ha'oirev? The explanation of these words is what David HaMelech wrote in the Pasuk, Sholach choshech vayachshich. You send darkness, it becomes dark. I don't really see what's the connection between one and another, how you explain Vaishalach es ha'oirev with this pasuk. But anyway, let's see what the Midrash has to say. So the Midrash is going to bring here Rabbi Yudon, that's going to say The Oirev had a complaint. Didn't want to go out. He said, why are you sending me? Oh, you want me to die? But we only two. So the Oirev is complaining to Noach, why don't you send another animal where you have 7? Us, we are only 2 couples. If one dies, the world will suffer. Noach answered him, what does the world needs you? We cannot eat you, and we cannot bring you as a korban. So what purpose do you serve in the world? You can die. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Noach, no. I need him because I have another shlichus for him for later on. What shlichus? With Eliyahu Hanavi, that is when it's going to be hiding, I'm going to need the Oirev to go take food from the table of Yehoshaphat and bring it all the way to Eliyahu Hanavi. That's what it says, explained at the end of the pasuk, ad yevoishes hamayim, until the water will dry, because at the time. Okay, someone turns off his. It's Jaime, turn off your. I'm gonna mute you. I muted you. It's fine. It's Dodi. I'm muted. Okay. So I'm gonna mute this one too. So what is until the water will dry? It's because at the time of Achav and Eliyahu Hanavi, Bnei Yisrael were Ovdei Avodah Zarah, so he stopped. He asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the key of the rain, and he stopped every rain, and the land dried. So that's what hinted in the pasuk, ad yevoishes, until the land will dry, I need them. In other words, this is how, according to the Midrash, you would read the pasuk, Vaishalach es ha'oirev, and bad things happen. We don't know yet what it means. And Noach didn't want him, didn't care about him, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no, let him back in, because I'm going to need him for Eliyahu Hanavi. Like HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs animal or invoice, only has the Oirev, right? That's the only animal. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even if the Oirev is not here, couldn't see with an eagle, with whatever other birds. And what is that? This midah of, after almost a year working in the teva, feeding all the animals, the one who's called Tzaddik Tamim, meaning he doesn't question the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, tells an animal, you can die. I mean, the world won't miss you because we cannot eat you. What about all the other animals that you have in the teva that we are not allowed to eat and we are not allowed to bring to the korban? This one also, you're going to say you can die. So why is it that you have it on the Oirev? Just for, because I'm not going to get there, so I'm just going to open a parenthesis. One of the tiniest, according to one of the Midrashim, I remember to my head which one is down below, is a Tanchuma, I think he brings it. Oh, no, it's the Gemara in the Sanhedrin. The Oirev said to Noach, what is that? You need my female? That's why you sent me away? Look at the Shtusim, how far they go. And still the Midrashim, they're recording the Gemaras, everything is recorded, how much ink was used only for this pasuk of the Oirev. It's staggering. What is it about it that we have to learn from this? It better be something important, otherwise, why recording it in the Torah? In Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, I repeat just so you get used to it, Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Eliezer Gadol was the rabbi of Rabbi Akiva. They both have a midrash. Rabbi Eliezer is Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Akiva is Oisio is the Rabbi Akiva. These are the important midrashim. it tells us that when the Oirev went, he found cadavers and he ate. So, but he didn't come back with anything, he didn't inform back Noach on the status of the waters. No, just for himself. He filled him with his belly and just came back. That's why he says, but the Yoina came back with a leaf in its beak. Why? Because a shlichus, when you send, you use something tamei, says the Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, only catastrophes happen. And the shlichus, if you entrust a mission with something tamei, it will not happen. But if you entrust it with something taher, you can make sure that your mission will be carried out. When we say chazaka shliach kosesh dichusoi, that we have a chazaka that a shliach always completes his mission. If you see, a shliach can only be a yid, it cannot be a goy. Because with a goy, there's no chazaka, something tamei. And the reason starts Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer, why, and the Gemara will say that many midrashim will go over, and actually it's part of the shira of the Yoina, why he brought a leaf of olive tree, to say the same way that it is bitter. I'd rather have my mezoines, I'd rather have my panasa and let it be bitter, but let it come from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, rather than having my panasa coming from a human, even though it would be sweet. Meaning, even if the human would give me sweet stuff that I would enjoy, I'd much rather see the midah of the yoina, understand that the matana at the end of the day destroys a person. The fundamental difference between the yoina and the oirev, we're going to see there's going to be a lot of similarities. And the oirev, because I'm not going to get to there, I'm just going to give you just a brief overlook that the oirev has a lot of midas toivus, a lot that we learned from him for Torah and everything. I'll mention a little bit later, a couple of them. But the yoina, but the big thing, the big downfall of the oirev, it's all for him. What am I getting out of this? This is his approach to life. However, the yoina is, no, I don't want anything from anyone. Why? I don't want to turn to become a receiver in life. I'd rather be a giver. Once you start training yourself to become a receiver, this is the path to hell. And we'll see a little bit later. So this is the fundamental teaching that the Parsha here has is, what do you choose to be? And we're going to see they're not so different, the Yoina and the Oirev. Why? The Oirev, it's written without a vav. So the Torah wants to tell me, look in the word. It's going to be different Zohar, different this, but I'm going to try to remain as close as possible to the pshat here. Oirev without a vav equals 272. This is 16 times 17. 16 times Tov. It's not bad. For Oirev that we thought that was really a rotten, nasty everything, it's not bad. 16 times 17. Can we reach that level? 16 times 17? Shleimus is when you have a square, when you have a complete number. Now, is the yoina, it says in the pasuk, ve'alei zais toraf befiha. The yoina is not a vulture. The yoina is not a predator. So the word taraf doesn't apply to a yoina. The yoina doesn't. The yoina is not toiref. Eagle is toiref. Devours and everything others. The yoina doesn't. So why is it using the word taraf? Taraf equals 289. 289 equals 17 times 17. Kulul Tov. That's why Knesset Yisrael is always compared to the Yoina, because the Yoina is complete. The Yoina is Tov times Tov. The Orev is Tes Zayin is missing one midah. Which midah? That midah that he has. Everything is, as we're gonna see. He's a receiver. He's all about himself. He doesn't want to bother. He doesn't do anything wrong. He doesn't do anything to But once you start doing, you start entitling yourself and feeling that you have to. Life is basically for you a path to not to better yourself or to give. No. To basically feel better, reach a level that you have enough goodness for yourself, enjoying life and everything is you. You becomes the center of life. At that time, that person will do things. So when a person tells you, well, life is short, we have to enjoy ourselves, you understand from these words, he's explaining you his das, that his mental is, I am the center of my world. Everything has to be serving the I. When you ask a tzaddik, what is in center of the I, or of your world, he's going to say you. Him, not worthy. I'm in total beetle. I don't exist. I'm not worthy. That's why Abraham says, "Va'anochi afar va'efer." I am nothing. I'm not deserving it. So this person, a person that comes with this approach in life, we always give. A person approaches. So let's go back now to our pasuk. Now that we have reviewed that a little bit, let's go back to our pasuk and see, what the Zohar here is going to give us two explanations. Why? Because so the Orev is not good, because Rabbi Eliezer said any mission that you entrust a Tamei will never be completed. Okay, Noach, you Tzadik Tamim. Hashem repeats your name twice. Es ha'eloikim misalech Noach. Noach was so great. He was preceding HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Noach, the Midrashim, he learned the whole Torah. He was Mekayim all the mitzvahs. Was a tremendous tzaddik. I'll give you one. Eile toldois Noach equals 4 times Abraham. Twice Shechina, just to show you the level of Noach. You look at Es Elokim Misalech Noach equals 910, twice Sarah. In the same pasuk, I have Abraham and Sarah. I found 4 times Yitzchak. Let's not get into that. I just want to point out that Noach was a tremendous figure. So what, Noach? You didn't know the Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, that we don't entrust a mission with a Tamei, and you expect your mission to be completed, and then you get upset? Why get upset? This is the natural course of life. Says the Zohar 2 reasons he entrusted the Orev. First of all, because the Orev is the smartest bird. Then he felt that only through the Orev he could get his information. Second answer the Zohar gives, it's out of this world, actually. Noach had tremendous tsar because HaKadosh Baruch Hu destroyed the world. He was feeling a lot of pain for the people and for the destruction of the whole world. He couldn't understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu is called Rachum Bechanun, seeing all this world, all these people. If you're already going to make a miracle of the Mabul, make another miracle to make them change. Why destroy them? Miracle for miracle, okay, make another one. So Noach couldn't understand that, and he had tremendous tsar. And he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I mean, basically, it was not a complaint, it was worse than that. He said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm going to send that we should say the wrong way. He wanted to image HaKadosh Baruch Hu what he felt about him, what he was. The same way the raven has no mercy on his children, because when they're born, he doesn't feed them. As David HaMelech says in the Pasuk, Livnei Oirev Asher Yikrau, the chicks of the Oirev, when they call HaKadosh Baruch Hu, send them food. Why? Because the Oirev doesn't feed its babies. It's the only animal that doesn't feed its babies. It's an achzari, it's a cruel. And that's the message Noach wanted to send. Zohar asks, how is it possible to say such a thing? HaKadosh Baruch Hu called him also tzaddik. And Rashi says, why is he not called Tamim there? Because you can't say Oli Shvach in front of him. So you see that even after that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu held of him. It's because we're not judging a person at the time of his tsar. Like Eov, he was saying things at the time of a tsar, you cannot catch a person and judge him. You can never judge a person, and you should never judge a person. We have time to finish this year. There's a Baal Shem on here just about this. Why is sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings you into a situation that revolt you, makes you sick, show you people that you would say yourself, you know, they should go to Gehinnom. Think twice, says the Baal Shem. This didn't happen by occurrence. HaKadosh Baruch Hu controls every move in this world. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows you something by someone else, he's basically having pity on you. And he's saying, you know what? It's about time you arrange the same midah you have. Says the Komana HaKadosh. What happens? Oh, you're showing me on the inside who I am. This is basically who I am. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not showing this to us, basically, to tell us, this guy is a Rasha, send him. No, he's showing you a mirror of what we are. And it's about time now to correct that midah. That's all we got to take from that situation. By not come to conclusion. Says the Komana HaKadosh, why is the Tana in the Mishnah says, Veheveidan es kol ha'olam lekav zchus? Because once you are done lekav zchus and not lekav choiva, you avoided the midas adin to come. The same way you avoided the midas adin to come on that person that much worse than you and deserves it, by still you understand that this is you, basically. So when it comes to you, the midas adin cannot touch you. Tremendous explanation. And how it fits in this world. We do not understand. Sometimes our feet carry us into places and situations that, these people are so bad, so worthless, so nothing. No, they are not. This is you. This is what we're showing you. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is asking you, now it shows it to you on the outside, so you can see it and internalize it and change yourself. And the only thing you have to do is don't judge, because if you don't judge, you won't be judged. So I'm going back to So the Zohar said that we don't judge a person at the time of his tsar. Fine. The Gemara, there's a tremendous question. The Gemara in Ksubas says when Reb Chizda, you know, there's a halacha in Even Ezer, if I recall well, it's in Simenon base, that a person has to feed, Midini Doraisa has to feed his children till the age of 6 years old. But Chachamim, Gaza, that he has to keep on, and we force him, Beis Din forces him to keep on feeding them. So the Gemara says, when a person like this used to come, who refused to feed his children, Reb Chizda used to say, put a platform in the street and let him say, the Oirev takes care of his children, and me, a person, don't want to take care of my children. The Gemara asks, there's a whole pasuk about it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives its sustenance to an animal, because the parents don't give it, so Hashem has to give it. The Oirev is an achzari. The raven is cruel. It doesn't feed his children. So how can you tell me this guy should say, this guy is like a raven? But don't tell me the raven is better than him. So the Gemara answers, there are two types of raven, the white and the black. Okay. There's a machlokes between Rashi and Tosfos, fabulous machlokes here between Rashi and Tosfos. What is the meaning of the answer here? There's a black and a white. Rashi says when the babies are born, they have a different color. They have a much lighter color. They're not black. So he looks at this. I'm going to mix up the Tanchuma with Rashi because this is his source. So the male is looking at the babies and he says, hey, he tells the female, these are not mine. You cheated. Look at the color. They're clear. So he abandoned them. All right. So the question, now we called him an achzari, cruel. No, he has a reason. He has a good reason. Now you want to tell me that he has to feed the babies of someone else? Yeah, it would be a real good bird if he would do that. But we don't ask, I think, for birds to do chesed like this. I don't think there's many animals that would do it. You know, very seldom cases we see that. So, but we can't call him an achzari. You want a taina? Ask the female. Why do you abandon them? Even if you went with another bird, okay? But it's your babies. You should take care of them. Elamai, the female also knows that she went with no one else. So she thinks someone dropped the eggs in here and they hatched, but they belong to another bird. And therefore, they're not a babies. But at the end of the day, we refuted, you know, the midrashim. We asking basically, it's a tremendous question on the midrashim. How do you call the Oirev an achzari? He's not cruel. He just thinks it's not his babies. So what would we call him names? That's the pshat of Rashi. Tosfos comes and says, no. Look at the godless of Tosfos, the godless. Says in the Gemara in Chulin, we learn Eskol Oirev. It says Lemino. When in Pasha Shmini, we say that the Oirev is a behema tameya, a oif tame, we're not allowed to eat it. It doesn't say the Oirev, like it says on different other animals. It says, and all the Oirev. So the Gemara is medakdek, the Gemara deducts. What it means and call means you want to include me something else. So the Gemara says, yes, the Oirev Amaki, the Oirev that lives in the valley, which is different. And there, from there, Tosfos builds up and says there's an Oirev which is white by nature, same type of body, everything, but he's white, and one who's totally black. Two extremes. I was so amazed by how Tosfos, you know, came up to this. I made some research actually online, and I found out in America there's a species that's totally white. Look at Tosfos in France. I don't know, I couldn't find if there was in France or not. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this. And the Gemara says it's a species that flies before the doves, because it's white like them, and it flies together with them. So now, when Rab Chizda is saying Ksubas, he's worse than the Oirev, He's worse than the white one because the white one takes care of his children. But the black one does not take care of his children. So Mimela, we have answered, Tosis also answered the question. Nevertheless, our question is not answered. How do you call him an Achzari? He just thinks it's not his children. I'm just going to go a little bit slightly here deeper, and I'm touching the end already because I don't want to lose. I think if we can just keep in mind one message, Oirev Yoina, receiver, giver. That's tremendous. Whenever we're confronted in a situation where we can receive a freebie, we should say no. No. Soine matanos yichyish. Shlomo HaMelech says, who will leave? The one who hates present. You do not know how much this present will cost you down the line. Oh, later on, I did you a favor. You owe me a favor. And that favor, you wish you would take that present and shove it in his mouth. Because it's not worth what he's asking you to do. Anyway, so we still stay with that question of Achzarius. So we're going to see exactly where it comes from. If we take the first three words, Vaishalach es ha'orev, the mission, the beginning of the mission that Noach decided to do and entrust the Orev to go find out if there's enough, if there's water left. If you calculate Vaishalach es ha'orev, and he sent the raven. The first verb means to say and. I just want to take Yeshalach es ha'orev, the core verb and the pasuk. Equals 1026. Exactly the amount Shalach Choshech Vayachshich. Basically, the Midrash tells us that this is the type of the Vaishalach es ha'orev. Look deeper, because it's the same exact value. In that case, what can we analyze behind this here? Noach, we're going to take the first reasoning of the Zohar, because that's what it seems that the Midrash does. He wanted to entrust someone intelligent, and figuring out that because he's intelligent, he will accomplish the mission and I will get my information. Very good. So when you take 1026 equals 9 times Hamenucha. I wanted to feel good. So, and I was sure that would work. So Vaishalach, basically, Vaishalach es ha'orev informs of what I had in mind at the time I entrusted the raven with that mission. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to have my information. On the other hand, what did I get? You have to realize numbers play on both ends. It's a sword. 9 times Gehinnom. What happened? Mayhem after that. Exactly what Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer said. When you entrust the Tamei, it's like entrusting a fool. It's not only it's not going to be accomplished, but you're going to be in a worse position that you were at the beginning. In other words, Shalach Choshech Vayachshich, a person is in a stage in his life, he's learning, is a good thing, and his Satan is trying to choke him out. And he feels that, it's becoming dangerous here. He still has his mind. The Satan didn't pull exactly yet the string. You can still breathe, but you start breathing hard. It's time to act. Because you're going to say, I'm going to give this to the Satan. I'm coming right back where I used to stand. No, say the Pasuk, David HaMelech, says the Midrash, says the Zohar. Shalach choshech. When you send obscurity, it becomes even darker. You think now, in your position now, when I'm at the light, I'm going to indulge myself a little bit, and I'm not going to lose much. It's not true. Look where I am. Look where you're at, because you don't have this. Now put this into the equation, and you will find yourself not one level lower, 10 levels lower. Now you have to endure going back up 10 floors, which is much harder. And now you're going to regret exactly what you indulge yourself with. This is basically the reason the Torah had to record, even in one pasuk, the whole story of the Orev, but it teaches us so many things. But the main thing is the I has got to disappear. The me disappear. Indulge myself? No. I'm a giver. I'm not a receiver. When my fight in life is not to receive. After that, you have a second level to give, but you need to fight not to receive. Once you fight not to receive, then the doors open up and the light can shine. Because as long as you're a receiver, you on the path of the Orev that can never be Shalom, can never be good, is only 16 times 17, but not 17 times 17 like the Yoina, which is a total square. We saw last week, and I'm finishing on this, I'm just jumping to the end, I just don't want to drag you more, that essentially in Bereshis, we came out with two midas, Emes and Yashros. That's what came out to the Psukim through the different and the many gematrias we did and so forth. Let me remind you something. Chodesh Cheshvan, which is not the best of the month. That's what we call him Mar Cheshvan. Always being Mar is a gematria of Amalek. So we always have tzaras. But you have to remember one thing. 676, you're only 26 away from Shabbos, which is 702. You get me? Rois, it's not that far away from Shabbos. Just need add Hashem, Yudke Vavke, and now Chodesh Cheshvan with Yudke Vavke equals Shabbos. Menucha. You have to understand. So it's not, we always learn this Parasha in Cheshvan. This is always the beginning of Cheshvan, Parasha Noach. Why? Because you don't want to be a Mekabel. You want to be a giver, like the Yoina. Number two, despite if the muzzle of this month or the muzzle of this month it's good or not, Noach stands Nun Ches for the, it's called the Mazala Kadisha, the Mazal. I'm gonna stumble it in your mind until you understand this. There's only one muzzle to Bnei Israel. Noitzer Chesed. Nun Ches. Noitzer Chesed. That's what it stands for. So when it's Vaishalach Noach, so now if you do Vaishalach Noitzer Chesed for what it stands for, you know what comes out? 766 Tshuva Me'ahava. As we were during Sukkot with the Simcha and so forth, then actually you take Sameach and Noitzer Chesed, you get the same exact result, Tshuva Me'ahava. A person has to be constantly. So yes, Royce, it's been in our history, there've been a lot of problems in this month. However, in your life, doesn't have to be that way. In your life, if you looking for the Yud Ke Vav Ke, look at Siman Aleph in Shulchan Aruch. No Ariya Kodesh, no nothing. Read the words of the Chafetz Chaim on the Mishnah Berurah on the first page. Shivisi Hashem lenegdi samin. That's the segula to be saved from any tzara. And just to finish, what is tzara? Tzara is the same letters as Retzei. Only what? The resh of last week is inverted. Now you have to put it first. How do I put it first? Yud Ke Vav Ke. Go to Hashem simply. You don't have to be a mekubal. You don't have to be anything. Just simply toward HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Say, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. I'm really sorry. I want to come back, whatever. Rois and Yud Ke Vav Ke equals Shabbos. Have a great Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Have a good Shabbos. Thank you.
Good Shabbos. Thank
Good
you.
Shabbos, Shabbos.
Did you hear me speaking?
Shabbos, thank you. Great. Shimon, super.
I just want to
Shabbos,
stop
everyone.
recording.
Hello? Did
Yeah,
you hear
Chaim,
me?
we hear you.
Oh, okay, thanks.